Sis, if you don't want your feelings hurt, you better turn this episode off right now, because today I am about to drag you out of the waiting room of your own life. No more, I'll start on Monday. Definitely no more, I'm starting in January. You have been procrastinating this year instead of changing, and it is the exact reason that you're stuck. And this is the episode that is going to wake you the hell up. What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to another week here inside of the Losing It podcast. You're here with Kylie Pax, Australia's emotional eating coach, and I'm going to start today by asking you something a wee bit uncomfortable. How many Mondays have you promised yourself a fresh start? And then how many of those Mondays ended the exact same way? In a binge spiral, or with you just stuffing yourself into an ice cream carton? Well, good, because today we are burning that version of you to the ground. So pull up a chair. Actually, fuck that. No, don't sit. Stand the hell up, because today I am not talking to the woman that you've been pretending to be this year. I'm actually talking to the woman you are secretly terrified of becoming. You know, the one who's going to wake up on December 31st this year, look in the mirror and realize, fuck my life. I just wasted another year waiting for the perfect time to start my weight loss plan. Now, honey, if that sentence punched you in the throat, good, because this episode is going to be your wake up call. Today, I am taking you by the hand, and then I'm going to drag you by the tonsils, and I'm going to show you exactly why you are still stuck binge eating, procrastinating, and still living in a body that you don't feel at home in, because it all comes down to one thing. Girl, you have been procrastinating this year instead of taking action. And if you keep this up, then just welcome to your shitty life of never ever losing the weight that you know you're capable of losing. So let's go. This is what I hear from women every day. When things calm down, then I can really focus on my weight loss. Or when the kids go back to school. Or when life isn't so stressful. But babe, that is literally the diet culture's favorite lullaby, and you've been rocked to sleep by it for years. How fucking embarrassing. Procrastination on the surface feels very harmless. It can sometimes almost feel like you're being responsible, because, you know, you've got to make your plans and you've got to carve out the time. It feels like you're taking a moment for yourself. But this is the truth that nobody else but me is brave enough to tell you. That procrastination is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. And why is that? Because it's a big fat fucking lie. First of all, it's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you treading water in the habits that make you feel so heavy right now. And it's also the mindset that is stealing the future that you know you're capable of creating. You've been begging for it. You tell everybody out there, I'm going to do some great things and I'm going to make a life that I'm really proud of. And I'm going to lose this weight and I'm going to fit into my jeans and it's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. But did you do it? Show me. Show me this amazing life you created. Show me the jeans that you're fitting into. Show me this wonderful weight loss that you say you want. Honey, I am sorry to tell you, but you didn't just spend this year waiting for a better moment. You actually trained yourself to believe that later is better than taking action now. So here's where we're kicking it off today. I feel like this is something that should have taught us in Sesame Street. Your conditions are never going to be perfect. You know, when you're very young and you're thinking about having a child and then people come along and say, there's never going to be a right time to have a child. You've just got to do it. I mean, personally, I don't know that because I never actually did it, but I'm sure a lot of you did. And you had the child and it was fabulous. Why are you not applying the same principles with your weight loss? If you're sitting around thinking you need more clarity or a better plan, or you've got to feel, oh my God, you've got to feel motivated before you can start. I am so embarrassed for you right now. No, sis, you don't need a better time. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to get out of your own damn way. The longer you wait, the longer you'll wait. And then you wait a little more. And then life kicks you in the shins and you know what you do? You keep fucking waiting. And the worst part is you start disguising that waiting as your perfectionism. But the true cost of all of that waiting is your potential. Every single time you delayed changing your life, every time you said, it's okay, I'm going to start tomorrow, and you're just stuffing your face with Tim Tams, it wasn't about an extra calorie or two on the bathroom scales. That wasn't the crime. The crime was you strengthening the wrong identity. Every little one of those micro moments, you were strengthening the identity of a woman who breaks her word to herself, who gives up on herself, who procrastinates and waits and sits on her little ass instead of taking action. And then you wonder why you feel so lost and overwhelmed and insecure and out of control around food. Babe, It's not because you're weak, and it's definitely not because you're addicted to sugar. It's because procrastination has now become your coping mechanism. It's all you know. And every second of this year that you spent procrastinating, your confidence evaporated a little more and a little more until eventually, or any self-trust that you had in yourself just completely died. And that dream body you thought you were going to create, honey, no, show me, where is that? It completely expired. Procrastinating doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you stuck. Now, I want to tell you something savage because I know there's a lot of you out there who tell yourself, I'm going to start on Monday. Listen, I don't care what day of the week you tell yourself you're going to start, unless you're actually doing it, you are putting your goals outside to rot. Starting on Monday is the most seductive illusion that we give ourselves because it feels safe. We create this illusion of a safety net because we put space, continual space, between who we are now and who we know we're going to have to become in order to reach our goals. Really, you're just creating a prison for yourself, and every single bar is labeled with, I'll start on Monday. And instead of just opening the door, because honey, it was never locked, instead of just opening the door and walking out, you just fucking sprinkled some fairy lights around in there and called it your home. Now, for those of you who feel like you need motivation and momentum in order to get started, no. Biggest lie of all time. Motivation's going to fuck you over every single time. It's inconsistent. It completely relies on your emotions. So it's unstable and unreliable. Here's what you actually need to transform your life. Oh, you just have to show the fuck up. You will create motivation when you start showing up. And showing up means you're going to have to take action. You can't sit around thinking about it anymore. You can't do your own little plans and then color them in with your highlighters and think they're so pretty but still not take action. The 1% version of you, a 1% woman, she doesn't sit around waiting till she feels ready. She takes action while she's shit scared and while she's feeling unsure and insecure and very freaking uncomfortable. But that's the exact reason why she becomes unrecognizable, because she stops worshiping motivation and starts building her own momentum. Now, if you haven't turned off yet the crazy Aussie woman who's yelling in your ears, this is where I'm going to put my hands around your shoulders. I'm going to give you a big squishy hug, but I'm also going to look directly into your soul. I'm going to tell you with all the love in my heart, the only reason you didn't lose weight this year is because of you. You are the problem. But, before you all run off looking for a sharp object, you are also the only solution. It wasn't your hormones that held you back. It wasn't stress that held you back. It wasn't your cravings or binges that held you back. It was the procrastination that held you back. And procrastination is a choice. Girl, your life didn't pause. You paused. And while you were waiting for that perfect moment and Monday to start, all of your problems and life circumstances just kept growing, like with interest. What is it called when you put it in the bank? Compounding. They were compounding. So let's talk a little about the exact steps that I used to stop procrastination. Oh, girl, I was the queen of procrastination. I'm still honestly surprised that Oprah hasn't come to my door and given me some kind of award, because I fully fucking deserve it. You're going to stop procrastinating and start acting like a 1% woman. Now, this is what I teach all of my clients inside of the Bombshell Blueprint. It's how to stop procrastinating and start leveling up. You want to do the two simultaneously. So the first thing you're going to do, you need to step up and claim radical awareness of your situation and own that shit. The next time your brain starts whispering, next Monday, we'll start in January, it's not a good time now. I want you to recognize that that voice is your old identity. You don't have one voice in your head. It's like a whole mental asylum up there, and all the inmates are running around loose. There's 1,001 voices going on in our heads all day long. So if no one's ever told you before, you can talk back to yourself. That voice that said, just eat it now, you can start again in January, that's your old identity. That's not you. That's not who you are. How can I say that for sure? Because you feel very, very fucking uncomfortable when you act in accordance with that voice. When you do the things that detrimental voice tells you to do, you don't feel good after. You feel like a piece of crap. You feel like a fat cow, and you keep promising yourself to do better. So that is not your best, highest, and hottest self. But there is a voice that whispers, the one that says, you don't need that extra tub of ice cream. You don't need that shit. Shut it down immediately. The second thing you're going to do is take note of your patterns. So when you see that old procrastination showing up, the self-sabotage, do one small thing that is different to what you previously would have done in the past. I don't give a shit if you have to throw your snacks in the bin and now you're telling yourself, well, that's a waste of money. Well, so is doing 50,000 diet programs a year, just losing the 10 10, 20, 30 kilos that you could have lost on the first round if you would have done the thing properly the first time over. We are wasting money left and right. I would rather waste it on throwing away some snacks than waste it on 50 new diet programs next year, wouldn't you? Do one small thing that shifts the momentum. Throw away the snack, go outside and do a walk, message me for accountability over on Insta. I would love to see you drop into my inbox and just be like, Kylie, oh my God, help me. I desperately want to eat the Snickers bar. What am I going to do? And I will coach you through it. Action kills procrastination. The status quo feeds it. Now, the third thing you're going to do is set specific and immediate goals. I'm not necessarily talking about SMART goals because it doesn't need to be that deep. Why make shit harder than it has to be? Instead of saying, I need to eat better or I need to exercise, start taking action in those areas. And you can begin by clearing that shit out of your pantry that you think you need to have there because the kids might want it or your partner might want it. Listen, a drug addict doesn't keep heroin in the house just in case they have visitors pop over, and neither do you. So again, I don't care. I don't care if you think you need it for the kids or the spouse or somebody, your best friend's mum's dog likes to have the things. No, we don't care. You are now going to tell any other person that's in your house, mum's got goals, and they can either get the fuck on board or deal with it. Clear rules, clear action. The fourth thing you're going to do is simplify everything. Let's start streamlining our lives so that we are no longer freaked out and overwhelmed and start shelving the things that matter most to us. Overwhelm is the most socially acceptable form of self-sabotage that I've seen these days. I want you to start breaking down your tasks one by one until it becomes impossible not to take action. I started doing this just this week with a private client. We used Canva. We started mapping out our mind maps. If you want the exact template that I use, just message me over on Insta. Tell me I want the template that you used, Kylie, to create your mind map so that I can simplify my shit and start taking action. Because once you get very, very clear, yes, on what you want, but also on the small micro actions it takes to achieve it, then there is no way you can't succeed here. Now, speaking about micro, the next thing you're going to do is make fast micro decisions. Snap, snap, snap. A 1% woman decides in seconds, not hours, that she needs to go out and go for a walk. She's the one that gets straight out of bed and is moving. She's the one that's drinking her water immediately, not getting to 5 p.m. at night and thinking, shit, I didn't drink any water. You need to start putting systems in place to make your decisions easy and automatic, because the next thing you're going to do, give yourself a big squishy hug and embrace your imperfection. Perfectionism is literally your own fears just dressed up in some Glinda-like stilettos. Sis, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, imperfect action beats no action every single time. Listen, I would rather lose a 0.5 kilo in 3 months because I was taking imperfect action than lose no weight in 3 months, or worse still, like those of you this year that were procrastinating the shit out of everything, gain 0.5 kilo in 3 months. Now, the seventh thing and the final thing and the most freaking important thing is you need accountability in your life. Why am I so forceful on this? Why do all of my programs include accountability? Because, babe, you will fall back into old habits without a coach or an accountability partner who refuses to let you self-destruct. That is the entire reason that I created the Bombshell Blueprint, because you cannot heal emotional eating on your own. If you could have, you would have. You've tried, it didn't work. So inside of my programs, girl, I don't let you hide. I'm not going to sit there and watch you crumble. I'm not letting you self-sabotage your future self just because you've got some loud old habits that are lurking around in the background. With me, you're going to get the structure and the support, the direction, most importantly, the standards to pull you into that 1% identity. You haven't been failing because there's something wrong with you. You failed this year because you kept thinking that you could do this alone. So, babe, let's be brutally honest here. This year is going to end one of two ways. You're either going to finish this year exactly where you started, just feeling bloated, tired, overwhelmed, and binging and pretending, worst of all, pretending that next year's going to be different, or you finish this year strong, feeling light and disciplined and empowered and calm around food and in control of your life. And most importantly, this is the one that drives me every single day, feeling proud of the woman that you see in the mirror. The only difference between these two versions is whether you keep procrastinating or whether you decide to take action now. Not on Monday, not on January 1st, not after all your parties and social engagements are over, now. So if you're done with procrastinating and living in the shadow of your own potential, then babe, it's time to join me inside the Bombshell Blueprint and become the 1% woman you were always supposed to be. Let's finish this year strong together. Rebuild your identity, stop procrastinating, and start living the life that you came here for. Your new life starts the moment that you decide it does. And that moment is right now. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, if you're loving what you're hearing and you want to hear more, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, share this episode on your stories, or send it off to a bestie who's also spent the year procrastinating. And remember, the only person who has the power to change your life is you. Spending another year listening to your own BS stories is not the answer. Promising to start in January, definitely not the answer. When you step up and realize that, just like Glinda said to Dorothy in the original Wizard of Oz, you've always had the power, my dear. Girl, that is when you've got what it takes. I'm sending you tremendous amounts of love. I cannot wait to see you again next week. Until then, gorgeous ones, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to kyliepax.com and join me inside of the Bombshell Blueprint so you can stop emotional eating and start losing your way now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources inside my past podcasts that will help you lose your weight without losing your sanity. I will see you next week.